This episode of St James's Pod is brought to you by Vixen Hair. The extension specialists have 2 locations here in Brisbane, as well as a mobile service. So if you're looking to achieve the hairdo of your dreams, look no further than vixenhair.com.au and tell them St James's Pod sent you. Enjoy the episode.
Tell me, mommy, ma.
That's right, guys.
Wembley.
You weren't dreaming the other night. We're actually going to Wembley.
Me, ma.
Newcastle United are heading to Wembley. Guys, we're back at St James's Pod.
First time since 1999. We're back.
Alex and Tom and Newcastle United are back as well. We're going to go over everything to do with the Carabao Cup, as well as any news that's gone on since the last episode, and look ahead to the West Ham game at St James's Park. But lads, I mean, I haven't really spoken to you in person anyway since we got through. So just tell me about the night. Alex, I don't know if you want to speak for Pete as well, because obviously he's not here tonight, but you were with him at the game.
All I can say is, oh, what a day. What a day. Honestly, like, I'm still buzzing. I still can't really sleep, to be honest. Like, I'm lying in bed at night thinking, like, we're fucking going back to Wembley. Like, it's just fantastic. Like, the whole night on Tuesday, it was just ridiculous. Like, the whole stadium, the whole city, and then the match as well, and then the aftermath. Like, everything about it, absolutely fucking buzzing. Unreal.
It was just... Yeah, it was special. Like, just the feeling of going to the game, and already kind of, I think everybody already had Wembley in mind, and then for it to be like only 4 minutes in, for us to get that all important first goal, and just the feeling, the relief, just the whole crowd. I've never felt a night at St James's like that for. Well, it's going on like probably the whole time I've been there. Like, it was just such a party atmosphere. Everybody was just in just a dreamland. It was amazing. Like, and yeah, just long may that continue.
You know, before kickoff was like, how were you feeling about the game? Because obviously we had the 1-0 advantage, but it's like, I don't know. Were you getting nervous, or what? And what was the kind of general vibe around where you were sitting as well?
Yeah, I was like quietly confident, like as you do with every game at St James's Park at the moment. Yeah, you are quietly confident, like, we're going to win, especially with a 1-0 lead. Like, we're not going to lose. Like, we haven't lost at home all season. We've barely conceded at home all season. But there's always that little bit in your back of your mind which is just thinking, like, yeah, like, with Newcastle, like, we used to, like, fucking up, like, what, like, it's not over till it's over. So, like, when obviously the first goal goes in, then, like, you start thinking, like, start to believe a little bit. And then I remember the outpouring of emotion when the second goal went in, obviously still quite early on. It was just, that's when it hit. It's just like it's pretty much happening now. Like, Southampton aren't going to get 3 goals back. Like, we're going to Wembley. Like, the whole crowd was fucking berserk. Even the guy who stands next to us, Paul, he's proper superstitious. He's not been singing "Tell Me, Mommy, Ma." He's not been saying any of that. He bollocked us on in the last league game at home because I said I'd already booked me tickets, and he was like, "If we fucking don't make it, it's your fault." But I think that, like, when I seen him celebrating and singing "Tell Me, Mommy, Mom," I think that's when it was just like, yep, it's done and dusted. We're pretty much there.
It was the same round where I was. Like, everybody was just like, that first goal goes in, and yeah, even like, I know my end of the ground doesn't normally get involved in the singing and chanting. There was clapping, there was singing, there was all sorts. Like, there was flag,
monocles
scarf waving, monocles were off, prawns were flying, like the whole place was
in the face.
honestly, yeah, you couldn't move for this. Like, just everybody was just in. Just it was amazing. Like, honestly, can't express like that first goal. And like you say, the second goal like was just again like, I mean, we'll get on to how well he performed that day, Longstaff. But like, yeah, that was just like, it was such a good goal, and like just like it was just meant so much for like it being a local lad as well who was steering us towards Wembley. Like I think that definitely came across as well in how like everybody was reacting, like and knowing that a Geordie lad is taking us to Wembley. It was amazing.
Obviously, we felt that when like Burn scored against Leicester, like it felt like, oh, like obviously it was his first goal, so it was like, oh, one of us, like at the Gallagher end, like Geordie scoring. But then Longstaff to go and do it, especially after like the last few games, the amount of times we've like slated him because he's been getting these goal scoring opportunities and he's been fucking them all up like terribly. And I remember me and people were walking to the ground, and like, do you know when you get these giveaways on Twitter saying like guess the correct score or whatever? He put Longstaff 2-0. And I was ripping him. I was like, what the fuck are you putting Longstaff 2-0 for? I was like, are you not seeing like how he's shooting lately? Like, he was like, he makes a good point where, like, if you put Wilson 2-0, you're never going to win it because you're going to have thousands of people guessing Wilson 2-0, so you need to go outside the box a bit. So then, obviously, the fucking beautiful goal as well, like, Jesus Christ. From, like, Bruno all the way across, like, the little 1-2 with Trippier.
Magic,
what a fucking finish as well. Like, one of our own. Again, in front of the Gallagher, because the fucking bastards made we change ends, which I wasn't happy about.
Yeah.
Made we shooting at the Gallagher in the first half. But Longstaff, straight into the same corner that Burnley had a knee slide in. Fucking class.
Yeah, iconic already. It's like, just seeing him, like, just the emotion, like, that it must have had. And like you say, he has had those, like, patchy performances and... Yeah,
not even
finishing.
Performances, just fucking shooting.
Or shooting,
It's
just his finishing, because he is playing like really well, but just the second goal, like for me, Lampard-esque, like the way, the timing, like the running onto it, like it was just incredible, and really happy for him personally, like that it was just a perfect man of the match performance from his perspective as well.
Did you see his interview before the game? I don't know if it was like a couple of days before or whatever, and he was talking about the fact that he actually mentioned the fact that he'd been missing chances and stuff. It was a really good interview, worth like watching it back if you haven't. But like when you watch that, it makes you think like he's popping up in those areas all the time, and he said he was getting advice off Shearer and everything, like just hit the target, like don't try and place it exactly where you want it, just hit the target, and then you can tell that's kind of what he did with the first goal. But it's a good interview. Like he is such a lad. He's talking about his cat and that. You go back and watch it, but you can tell he as well. He's like an essential part of the group. Making
absolutely.
People feel welcome as well, which for like the new signings, which what was that like when the two new lads came out on the pitch?
It was class. I think obviously at half time lots of people do go in, like get a pint and everything, but there was still plenty that were out there, and I was
before
there
the game though when the new lads
Shelby
came
at half time.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, Shelby at half time, yeah. Getting confused. But even still, like I heard like the Gallagher end were given, even already had a chant for Gordon, which was nice to see, like that.
Pretty basic, like, oh, Anthony Gordon. Doesn't make
basic
it
as it is,
make it up, like.
But it's still nice that
I felt sorry for Ashby. We didn't have a chant for him.
No, I know. I don't even. I'll save that for Pete. Pete will come up with something. But it's just nice that we were like given. It kind of came with that atmosphere that was already like building, and that those guys get a chance to kind of experience what it's going to be like for them when they start playing So yeah, they were very well welcomed. I would say before the game.
So what do you make of the January business then? Seeing as this is the first episode since the window shut, we lost Wood, Shelby. We
Speak for yourself.
got
got a reputation for that.
That's what they call me, floppy. We got Guanqual, Gordon, and Ashby. Is that everyone? Is that everything?
Yeah.
Nobody else left. Oh,
yeah.
Did Darlow leave as well on loan?
Yeah, he went to Hull on loan in the end. Yeah.
So overall, what do you think?
I'm in the same boat as Howe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Howe was saying that, like, I think he knew we needed reinforcements. Like, he knew when Wood came out, he said he wanted a player in. When Shelby went out, you saying he's trying to get a player in, but it was so late in the window, it was only a loan. So obviously Chelsea weren't playing ball. Sheffield United are under transfer embargo, so they wanted a sale outright for Sana Berger. So it seemed like the options that were wanted were non-starters, and it has left we're really light in the centre of midfield. Like, we had four centre mids plus Shelby, who's obviously been injured half the time, but Joe Linton's been playing out on the left wing. So obviously with Bruno getting banned, we've got 3 fit centre mids now, which has to pull Joe Linton back into the centre, Willock and Longstaff. So
it's worrying.
We are really thin on the ground. We really needed to get centre mid in. So
it is worrying, I would say. Like, and especially it just highlighted it when we in the game when Bruno got sent off, and we had to then pull Murphy off and put Anderson in, and like Anderson, he's obviously played more advanced in when he's come on at times, but he's now going to probably have to be a fill in at that position. And I mean, God forbid we have to like pull Cher out of like centre half and throw him in if we have any other injuries, like, because we don't want to be in that position, but it could happen. Touch wood, it doesn't. But any other injuries or suspensions can really put us in a bit of a position there, like in the centre. And it is a frustrating thing that we have left ourselves a little bit thin on the ground in that position. But I can see why Shelby wanted to leave at that point, and just to get that security, that financial security of knowing that Forest would give him a 2.5 year deal, and
getting more money as well, isn't he? So.
Yeah. Look, it makes sense for Shelby, and I don't think there's many. No, I don't think there's many Toon fans out there that are gonna really be, giving Shelby a hard time for it.
No, he got a class reception at half time. Like,
he did.
Really good.
He did. Look, he's been a very good servant for us over the 7 years he's been with us. And yeah, like, and his message, I think, that he put out on Instagram or whatever, I had a read of it, and he's got a lot of nice things to say about his time here, and obviously he's got his family, that a couple of his kids have been born up here, and like, yeah, it's nice. Like, I think it was just one of them things where it just happened to happen. It just happened too late in the window, and yeah, it's a shame that we ended up without much time to really find somebody.
It was like, It was almost like the offers were too good to turn down. Like, we were getting the loan with a decent option for Wood. We were getting like a decent fee for Shelby with 6 months left on his contract. So it's like we're getting the wages off the wage bill. We're getting a decent transfer fee in for both. We know that they're both squad players getting on a little bit. So it feels like we're just biting the bullet a little bit for the next 6 months. And hopefully, well, I'd imagine we will have that money to spend in the summer, and we'll have, more importantly, probably like 150 grand a week for the wage bill off the books as well. So you can understand why Newcastle have done it, but you can also understand why Eddie Howe was a bit sort of, a bit cautious about speaking about needing another body in and not getting one in the end.
Definitely. It's
we could have panicked about it, like, and just we've seen other clubs do it, and they panic and they bring somebody in who's just not the right fit, and we don't want to unsettle the squad harmony that we've got now, because everybody's, you know, we've got such a good unit now of players, like, that we don't want to just throw some random person in just to be a number to fill the squad back up. But it is leaving us very thin. I am a bit concerned, especially, you know, we're still in a very good position for the top four, and any of the suspensions or injuries could really damage that our chances potentially.
You know, like a random shout I was thinking of is on Hayden and Hendrick, both just on loans.
Hayden's injured. He's a long-term injury, I think.
Jeff Hendrick.
Let's not talk about Jeff Hendrick, but I was speaking to a lot of work today and saying, like, I would have taken Hayden back off his loan if he wasn't injured, but I'm sure he got injured not too long ago, because I remember him putting quite a long post about it.
Long term.
Yeah, I think he's out for quite a while, so I don't think that was an option.
And Matty Longstaff's obviously long-term injury as well. Otherwise, you know, it would have been potentially him to be brought back in. It'd be interesting to see whether or not we dip into the under-23s and you know, start seeing a few of their players. Like, I know we've mentioned Lewis Miley, sort of being one of those, I think, who's getting a lot of praise for his performances in the under-23s. So maybe we start seeing some of those names on team sheets for the rest of the season.
Yeah, maybe on the bench and stuff for sure. But I don't know. Maybe I'm sure Eddie Howe will have a plan. Your mate Murphy was memeing again, wasn't he? He just mentioned that he came off after being subbed on. How is it?
I'm so happy to be subbed off after being subbed on.
To be fair, like, it was, I think everybody in the ground was just like, I'd loved his kind of reaction to it. Like, he knows, like, what he's there for in the squad, and, like, he's a good character, and he took it well. Just, I felt coming off.
It's funny, like, when you're seeing his number coming up, like, honestly, I was watching him, and, like, he was on the right-hand side of the pitch, like, furthest away from the dugout, and he sort of half turned around and just started walking towards the east stand. And, like, the defender who was right on him was saying, like, yeah, your number's going. And he's just playing, like so fucking dumb. But it's so obvious what he was doing. Like, he turns around, massive grin on his face. Yeah. It's fucking crease. It was so good. But, like, what, two players subbed on and subbed off? Obviously, Isaac went on, and was that it was a concussion sub, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it used as a concussion sub? I obviously, it doesn't really say.
I assume so, because the ref came over and had a go at Jason Tyndall and that, didn't he?
I was going fucking mental. Like, I seen them all on the sideline going mental because they didn't call it straight away. Like, obviously, it's late on. Southampton think we're wasting time, and the ref didn't stop it for like a little bit. And I seen the coaching staff. Obviously, it would have been right in front of you, Paige. Do you see them?
There was a bit of commotion. I didn't really understand, because I couldn't quite tell how he got the concussion in the first place. Because was he the one lying down?
Free kick, wasn't it?
Was he lying down though? Was he the one behind the wall?
No, he jumped up and headed it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but he was the one who
a very like strong shot.
Like drilled him,
yeah. No, I couldn't quite tell what it was that. Because I wasn't sure if he was the one behind the wall and that something happened, like got like stood on or whatever. But it was I've seen the commotion with the coach and staff, but couldn't quite tell. But I think Southampton were thinking we were playing up to it, like trying to waste more time and stuff. But clearly, he needed to come off, and it was a bit of a farce. But I didn't know if it was a concussion sub or not that was used.
I would guess so, because the ref, even, like, obviously you can't 100% tell what's being said, but the ref does this on his head at one point. And you can see Eddie Howe's mouth, and how are we supposed to know when he's kicking off? Because obviously the ref must have been saying, like, you need to get him off, he's concussed. And then Eddie Howe's like, well, how are we supposed to know? Like, the medical staff are still on the pitch.
Yeah.
But I think Tyndall did actually, like, stop the medical staff from going on at first. So I don't know if that's why the ref was, like, complaining a bit. But what about their goal? Because that was a bit of a screamer, wasn't it? And it was weird seeing us concede against, like, our proper starting team.
It's annoying. I felt like, obviously it comes from a loose pass from Willock, and
it was Willock, wasn't it?
Like, we just weren't really, like, set defensively, and to be fair, we weren't expecting the pass to be loose, so there was a big gap that just seemed to, like, unfold. And, like, I think everybody was still in such, like, the crowd, like, we didn't really notice it, or at least, like, it felt as that, like, the crowd didn't really notice it go in, because everybody was just singing, chanting, like, we're going to Wembley, all that stuff. And then, like, the strike goes in, and, like, it's just the weirdest, like, because normally, like, the crowd would just be dead silent, like, if a goal goes in, and, like, you could just hear the away fans. But it felt as though you could, like, because we were still making so much noise, like, and we were still in such good spirits, that it didn't really register straight away. Like, I mean, it obviously, like, they get back to the centre circle, and we're like, all right, okay, like, it's 3-1 now on aggregate. Like, there's maybe, like, they could, like, but the way the pattern of the game was going, like, it was such out of the blue, and they hadn't really laid a glove on us at all, like, up until that point. So I don't think any of the fans were really too concerned, even after, like, such a good goal.
Speak for yourself, mate. Like, it was out the blue. Don't get us wrong. Like, we dominated that first half, and that goal did come out the blue. And it was a fantastic strike by Adams. But it's like, second half, we didn't come out well. We played completely differently that second half.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. Second half,
I was nervous in that second half.
The second half, like, I didn't like how we came out. Yeah, we didn't. I felt like we did come out a bit, like, flat at the start of the second half, and then we were, obviously, there's the chance that Armstrong has, which Pope makes a really good save. I thought at first Armstrong was offside. It was, like, it was hard to kind of tell whether or not he had broke the offside trap, but clearly he had, and Pope had to make a really good save. And that point there, I'm starting to get a bit nervous, like, that Southampton were gaining a bit of momentum. And yeah, I think was that after or before Longstaff had the penalty shout for handball, and then Longstaff has that effort well saved. I can't remember whether or not that Armstrong's effort was before or after that, but there wasn't many other chances that we really created in that second half, apart from that moment, at least from
dragged down in the box as well. Do you remember that one? The ball's kind of played behind him, and the defender, like, he's got his arm wrapped around his shoulder, and he just, like, drags him down in the box. With that, like, all the momentum's going one way, and then Wilson goes to, like, check back because the ball's behind him, and he just drags him down. And Wilson's, like, furious at the ref when it actually goes out of play, and they're not checking VAR. He's like,
I do. No, now you say it, because it was a long time until the ball actually went out of play, didn't it? Mm-hmm. Like, so, and we were thinking, like, all right, okay, we're just waiting, and then, like, ref just was like, just carry on, like, and we were just thinking, why is that not it doesn't even look as if he's attempted to like get VAR to review it. But yeah, I haven't really seen it back to see whether or not there was anything in it. I don't know if, like Sam on the telly, it looked like it was
like
more than.
To be honest,
yeah.
The only thing I could think was that he wasn't actually like. I don't know whether he's actually going to get to the ball or not, but it's one of them where it's like if you do that in the middle of the pitch, like it's definitely a free kick. So
was there a handball shout in that build up as well? Because again, it was the other side of the pitch to me, so I couldn't see.
I think it was a
clearly.
separate. I think that was a separate phase of play, but there was a handball shout. Yeah, but I think
but the one just before long. Yeah, the one just before Longstaff then smashes it like a goal. Yeah,
the volley.
The volley, like, I mean, if that had gone in, Jesus,
he could have had 4 goals. Like, he had like 3 good chances plus the volley. Like,
yeah, the one in between his 2 goals.
Yeah,
he probably should have got that on target, to be honest. But we'll let him go.
Yeah,
2's enough, I think. Like,
what do you make of the red card? Because there is a slight debate on it online and even within our chat.
Yeah, I mean, you would have had a better view of it, Dawes, from your angle, but because I had the Southampton player like back to me, so it looked as though to me Bruno had like just stood his ground, like, and the Southampton player had like collided with him, and so I was just like. I thought, all right, okay, he had been treading a thin line throughout the game and that he was probably overdue a yellow card. And I'd said it like 5 minutes before, like he had gone in for a couple of other niggly challenges. And I was like, I'm sure Bruno's like should probably have been yellow carded by now because, you know, it definitely on the Tottenham procedure, like would have been, you know, due one. So then when the yellow card was shown, I was like, oh, fair enough. But like, yeah, so when it went to VAR for a serious foul play, I was like, what? Like, because I couldn't see it, like, from where it was that he had actually gone down on his ankle. But, I mean, I've looked back on it and I might change my mind that it might have been deserving of a red card. Like, but, yeah, I don't know what you guys think.
It's funny you mentioned, like, 5 minutes before, like, thinking, like, oh, he's had a couple, because 5 minutes before I turned around to Pete and said someone needs to have a fucking word with him because he'd lost his head. You could see from the corner that he lost his head.
Oh, he was Raj, wasn't he?
Like, flying into tackles, and I think he'd made like 4 or 5 fouls by this point. And I said, like, someone, Trippier, anyone needs to like put his arm around his shoulder and say, calm down, because he'd lost his head. And 5 minutes later, what happens? He goes flying into that. Yeah, it looked pretty innocuous from like where I've seen it from. It looked like he'd caught him, like, yeah, obviously like caught him on the ankle. But then when you look back and you see like the player's foot planted and the stud's like right on the ankle, you can't have any arguments. Like, you see the ref going over to the monitor, and I think Pete checked his phone and he'd already had messages from the lads saying, it's a horrible one, like he's going. And when you see it back, there's no arguing.
It's unfortunate. Like, it's like
it is.
He's not, like, you can tell he's not trying to do anything. He kind of took the ball as well with his toe, but then obviously he just follows through, and it's like a combination of the way the Southampton players, and obviously, I think maybe if he wasn't so frustrated at that point, he might not have gone in as forcefully, and maybe he gets away with it. But I think he was getting wound up with the fact, like, oh, definitely, yeah. So he was getting wound up because he kept getting pulled up for free kicks, and some of them weren't really.
Yeah,
and, like you say, like somebody needed.
You could see
Trippier. Yeah, you could see Trippier once he got the yellow was like telling him to calm down and everything. But obviously, it was actually the red. So, I mean, I don't think we can really complain about it. But I just thought it was interesting that quite a few people are saying shouldn't have been a red. But I think really, if you take your black and white glasses off, you can't really have any complaints about it.
But the panic that was just like ensuing after, like, because people around me were like is that mean you're missing the final? Like, and everybody just was like, didn't know the rules. Like, I wasn't totally sure either. Like, so I was thinking, oh, fucking hell, like, you know, that could be that'd be massive, like him missing out. But obviously we're lucky.
I knew their player who got the 2 yellows in the previous in like the first leg. I knew he was on the bench and like actually in the squad, allowed to play, but I didn't know if that was because he'd served it in the FA Cup. So I didn't know if it was like you can serve them in the cups, but you can't serve them in the league. Or so I was still like the same as everyone else. And then obviously you see it on Twitter, and you're like, what can you trust on Twitter, really? Definitely
like half and half.
No, if anyone's still not sure, he's suspended for the next 3 league games, so he will be available for the final. But
in the stadium,
come on to the next league game.
I didn't know whether red cards. I didn't know whether red cards were different to the 2 yellows that obviously Salata got in the last game. So I didn't know if a red card would mean he's like definitely out the final, like sort of a Gaza moment or whatever. So that's the only thing I was unsure on. And then I checked the next 3 league fixtures to make sure I had 3 before the final, and thankfully we do. So
it's just as well.
I know, that's the thing.
None of them best get rearranged.
If you appeal it and get rejected, I'm sure you get an extra one at it. So I don't think we'll risk that. So as long as King Charles doesn't die or there's no floods out, I think we should be all right.
Many floods.
That's the only thing that can stop it. The weather, or one of the shortest rains ever.
Well, yeah.
All right, Pete's not here. Let's not talk about shortness. What about the scenes after the game? I bet it was just amazing, wasn't it? Like around town.
It was so busy. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, obviously, like, I want to go back to the match first. When Bruno got sent off, when Ward-Prowse was standing over that free kick, I was like, I had my head in my hands. I didn't want to watch. I didn't want to look. I was like, I know what you can do. If this goes in, these last 10 minutes are going to be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he didn't.
That's when Isaac gets his head on it, isn't it?
Aye.
He picks up the concussion, yeah. Oh, by the way, he's going to miss the next game, isn't he? If that was a concussion substitute. I'm sure you have to sit out for 7 days.
Yeah, if he gets diagnosed, then I can't see him playing at West Ham. But I don't know. Obviously, if it was diagnosed on the pitch, like, you go through the protocol or whatever. I think the rule is if it was given as a concussion substitution, that they have to sit out for 7 days. So we'll have to look into that. But I'm pretty sure it did. So we're going back to your points. Bouncing. Like, we went to Wonderbar after, and like, I don't know how, but like, we got there like pretty quick. We got served all right, and it just kept getting busier. Like, you think like maybe like half an hour after the match, like it might start to die down on like a Tuesday night. It just got busier and busier. I think we left at about 11:30 to go to another bar, and it was still like you couldn't get moved. One of our mates came to meet. We're like probably got there about 15 minutes after us. You had to wait 20 minutes in a queue to get in because there's that many people there.
Bloody hell.
Obviously, chants going off. Like, you could feel the floor bouncing, people jumping up and down. It was class. Really good atmosphere. Like, obviously, town was just buzzing. Everywhere you went in was buzzing. Unreal. Like, I can't imagine. Go on.
I was just going to say, you can see some of that on the social media at stjames'pod. No,
Twitter, I was going to say, like, there's a few lads that were going down to Wembley, even if like they can't get a ticket. But I think Newcastle on that Sunday night will be a fucking like absolute party. Like, town is going to be ridiculous. If we win, it's going to be even more ridiculous. Like, it'll be just as good being like in the centre of the tune on that Sunday night for the final than like Trafalgar Square will be. So I think like no matter if you get, I know there's been a lot of uproar about tickets today because they've released like the sort of the tiering of like who's going to be getting them or entitled to one and who's going to have to enter a ballot and stuff. But no matter where you go down to London and getting a ticket or not, or stay in the tune, just fucking embrace it. Like, we're in a final. It's going to be one of the best days of your life. Just fucking enjoy it.
Totally agree.
Do you know what time kickoff is?
4:30.
Aye.
4:30.
Normally 4:30. Yeah.
You try to work out what time you're going to have to get up for it.
Yeah, I think it's 2:30 in the morning. But
Just don't go to bed, man.
I think, if I've worked that out right.
Aye, so it'll be 2:30 in the morning on the Monday morning.
I hope you've got
6.
Wait, whatever you do, book the Monday off work, because you're gonna want to be watching it and celebrating. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Whatever
the result.
Yeah, called the Pig and Whistle, which is meant to be like a British bar, but it's where normally like you'll go to watch the match and stuff. So hopefully that's just packed out with black and white.
There'll be plenty of Man U fans over there, Bet.
Oh yeah,
Aye.
I imagine like a lot of Aussies are probably Man U fans, but well, obviously we'll do like a proper episode before the final, do like a proper preview, predictions and everything like that. We'll know by that point about team selection, injuries and everything like that. So just while we're still on the subject, what's your thoughts right now? Obviously it's Man U, they're in good form. It's kind of like reminiscent of the 90s.
Look, it's going to be great. Whatever the end result, it's still just great that we're back, in these moments, back in finals, and these sort of ties. For a neutral, like Newcastle Man United final looks fantastic on paper, and it should hopefully be a fantastic game. Am I nervous? Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't want to lose to Man U. Like, I think any Newcastle fan would say the same. Like, it's just the rivalry and everything else. But they are starting to get back to the Man U of old who can be a threat and cause problems. Like, they've got players in form. So yeah, nervous, but at the same time, we can give them a game. We already have this season, and yeah, it's a one-off final.
We've got nothing to fear. We went toe-to-toe with Man City, who have been the best team in the league for a decade or more now. We're going to have 33,000 Geordies in there, plus a few more corporates. Like, the place is going to be bouncing. The Man U fans will come in good number. Like, they travel well. I think you just got to enjoy the spectacle. Like, it's going to be a hard game. You know it is. But if we play our best, we can get a result. They're in really, really good form. Some of their players are playing the best they've ever played. Rashford is in ridiculous form. Casemiro had a lot of questions coming in whether he could do it. He's been fucking ridiculous. Bruno's stepping up to the plate, like in Ronaldo's absence, which, to be fair, he always has done when Ronaldo hasn't been playing. So, although there's a lot of players to fear on their team, where Eddie Howe's mags, like, we can beat anyone on the day. Like, Bruno's not injured. Let's fucking have it. Like, let's have it.
Yeah, totally. Like I say, we played them already. We've shut them out. Our defense is to be, reckoned with. Like, we could, just, yeah. You're right. I think I shouldn't feel as nervous. I feel like we can.
Don't get us wrong. They'll be favourites with the bookies. Like, they will be favourites to win. And there's nothing like, I know it'll be hard losing, but like, losing to that side, like, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. But it's got to go down there, enjoy ourselves, and as long as the players put everything in, I'm confident we can get a result. I really am. The way that Eddie's got them playing, like, Yeah, why not? Why not?
You just got to enjoy it, and yeah, like we're back on the big stage.
One full
like
season,
no matter
mate.
how it goes. Yeah, we're like so early in the project and
that's
the
it.
turnaround and everything. So
yeah, they'll be the first of many. I do think that like this is just the beginning of it. Like if you want to like look at comparisons to City when they got to their first FA Cup final in 2011, and then like that was like for many the start of their kind of reign of dominance. Like after they won that, and then they won the league the season after that. Like why not? Why not see this as this could be our moment, and then next season we're getting a title, we're winning the league, maybe.
Well, at least we know whatever happens, there'll be a Toon player getting a winner's medal. Because even if we lose, Dubravka's going to get one.
Oh fucking hell, yeah!
That'll be awkward, won't it?
Yeah.
Just, like
he fucking steps up the podium and celebrates with them with his Toon jersey on. That'll be the biggest shithouse move I've probably ever seen in football. He goes like with his Toon tracksuit on, gets his fucking medal.
Well, he takes his Toon top off and he's got his Man U on it.
The classic switcheroo at the ground.
But
if I was
on that note, though,
I'll be doing it behind the scenes. Like I'd definitely be going after everything's done. Nip to the change rooms. You got my medal, lads. Or...
on that note, though, you make a good point because I've seen like people saying he's like our secret agent, like that he might be able to pass on a few like tactical tips that he's heard obviously from his spell there. So I mean, I'm sure Eddie's already on it and like getting advice from him on how they're going to set up and stuff. But yeah, it could be a big factor.
Speaking of agents as well, Andy Carroll was out to like just take bits out of Man U in the FA Cup, and he's obviously left a.
I've never seen someone on a yellow card.
Just
I've never seen someone on a yellow card
injure players for the final, like
yeah. Like we can joke about it, but that's what it looked like he was trying to do. Like he was fucking that tackle. Like he had a fucking horrible one on Casemiro as well. He went fucking flying in. And then obviously Ericsson's out for the final.
Like as he's walking off, he's like, "What? Like how's that?"
He fucking he knows, like.
Yeah, gotta like it though. Guys, if you're enjoying what you're seeing or hearing, drop us a subscription or a follow and give us a rating or a like. Let's park that one there till we do the preview episode, and let's move on to the West Ham game. So West Ham are off the back of a win, even though the season's been pretty poor this season, which has surprised a lot of people, hasn't it? People were thinking they'd be up near around the European spots this season, but obviously they're closer to relegation. Kind of dragging themselves out of there now, though. What have you made of their season so far?
It's a massive fall from where they have been the last couple of years. I know they've had like a few injury issues with certain players. I know they've lost their striker Skamaka, and obviously have to bring Danny Ings in January. But yeah, I don't know. Just I don't know what it is. Why it's not clicking for them this year. But that I don't know. I can't put my finger on it really. It's rare that you see a team completely, fall away as badly as they have from where they have been. But yeah, they just can't seem to get consistent goal scorers. I know Bowen's had like a few patches where he's been in good form. I know he scored, didn't he, at the weekend? So there's a chance that he's
in the
back.
FA Cup, was it?
Yeah, could be.
Against Derby, got 2 goals.
Yeah, which obviously a little worry because he seems very much like a patchy player. Like once he gets a few goals, he can go on those like
keep scoring, doesn't
he? Yeah, those runs. So he's one obviously that'll be a concern to look out for in this game. But no, otherwise I can't put my finger on why they are as bad as they have been this year. But yeah, I mean Moisey is just hanging on by a thread, it seems.
That's the thing, like, they've spent, like, over 150 mil, and obviously, like, we know Antonio's made out of paper, Scamacca's come in and got injured, so, like, they're just almost left without a striker, like, which has been the problem for quite a while now. Like, yeah, they have been unlucky, like, Agard, he got injured straight away, Corney has been injured, Paqueta's looking decent, but obviously he's not having the same effect as, like, Bruno coming into the league, but not many can. But they're just, I can't put my finger on it, and I don't know if West Ham fans can put a finger on it.
cans.
Like the Europa League Conference, they've won 6 out of 6 games, smashed everyone in the group. But maybe that's having an effect on the league. You reckon they're playing European football and just a bit leggy?
They were able to do it though last season when they were playing in the Europa League, and they got quite far, and they still managed to keep the league form relatively decent. They
tailed off at the end a bit though, didn't they?
Yeah, I think obviously they got into the later stages of the Europa League. Like I think they just missed out on the final, didn't they? And yeah, that could have been a bit of it. Maybe it's just a bit of a hangover from that, like the amount of games they've had to play last season into this season as well, and the Europa conferences. I mean, the standard of the teams they've been playing in that are obviously a lot less. Like than they're not. They should be expected to win those games. But yeah, it is still that Thursday Sunday pattern which has tripped up teams in the past. But again, I can't really, apart from those odd injuries, like it's such a strange situation to see them right down there fighting for against relegation.
Well, they've just come off the back of like obviously beating Derby in the cup, and then they beat Everton in the last league game out. But so far this season, they've really struggled to score, haven't they? And I think that's why they obviously brought Danny Ings in. But we were just talking before we started recording that he's picked up an injury. We're not sure if he'll be playing or not.
Yeah, Moyes has been quite coy on it. Like, he came off injured, like, it was probably getting on 2 weeks ago now in the last league game. And then they had the FA Cup game, which I think he was cup tied for anyways, so you don't know whether he would have came back or whatever. So I guess we'll find out in the press conference in the next sort of day or so whether he will be back fit to face wear again, because I think he's probably going to be first choice over Antonio when he does come back, because he is a good player, and you know you can get goals in a relegation fight, which West Ham are in. I think he could help keep them up, really, because they are desperate for goals.
Yeah, and Antonio as well, like, even if he's fit, he can play on the left or something. What do we think for our team, though, with Bruno being suspended? We're going to have to jig things around a bit, and like we were talking about just earlier, we're light in the centre of the park, so luckily Maxi's fit now. Brought Anthony Gordon in. Whether he'll get chucked straight in, it's doubtful.
Yeah. I can't imagine Gordon getting in from the start. He'll probably be on the bench. There's no reason to say that he can't, because although he hasn't played that many games for Everton in the last few weeks, he's still going to be relatively match fit that he can come on for an appearance, I would say. But Maxi, I think, like we were saying, Joe Linton will have to move into midfield with Longstaff and Willock, and we're going to probably have to throw Maxi in from the start down the left. And yeah, it's going to be big for Maxi, this, because I think we have mentioned him in past podcasts that his form this season isn't as where we would like it to be. Not too sure sort of why that his form is not, where it has been in the past. Probably just needs a goal, and it could be.
I think his numbers are actually still decent for this season in terms of like minutes played and starts and stuff. There's obviously so much injury this season. It's like, like bit part player really, hasn't he? Since, I don't know, maybe October.
Yeah, I think that's probably about the time he dropped out of the team. But I know he's still like leading the team, the league, even on like dribbles attempted and like all those sort of stats which we'd expect from him, like, because that's his game. But it's just obviously the lack of goals and assists is a concern. But if he is to start this one, then it looks like a perfect game for him to potentially get that opportunity of getting goals or assists to hopefully spark him back into life.
So for a portion of the game on Tuesday, when Wilson came off, he was filling in left wing for a little bit, and Maxi through the middle. I think that's because he offers more defensively. Like, he was tracking back like quite a bit, and Maxi, he fucking wasn't coming back. He wasn't tracking back.
The fans were absolutely raging. There was a couple of moments where like he was just jogging, and it's just so frustrating. You see everybody else in the team like absolutely busting the gut, and when one person stands out that much that they're not.
A man sent off as well, and he went on one run up the field, and then he took fucking forever to get back on side. Like, he was doing like a fucking Peter Kay run. He was running, but he wasn't going any faster than a fucking walk. Like,
he ended up on the right hand side, didn't he?
That was it.
And
that's when Isaac filled in. So it probably depends, like, how we'll go, like, against West Ham, like, and again, if Eddie Howe wants to give Wilson another chance through the middle, because once again, he wasn't quite on it in that game against Southampton. Like, there was one where usually you would have got a good shot on target where it came across, and it like went almost through his legs. It went like under his feet.
Yeah.
And he just, there must have been 4 or 5 times when players went to put the ball in behind, and he never got there any time. Like, he's just not quite on it. I don't know what it is. So it'd be interesting to see. Once again, we've got to win. So you think Eddie Howe's going to keep the same team? So you think probably the only change he will make is on the left. And as you know, he doesn't throw new players in. Like, he didn't do it with Bruno. I doubt he'll do it with Gordon. So you'd think it will be Maxi coming in by sort of almost default.
Yeah, totally. I was just reading there that Paul Merson's given a prediction, and he's not that I really rate him highly with his predictions, but he's saying 0-0. Like, and yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's just on the basis of like recent games in the league that we've had at home have been that scoreline, but I can't see us not scoring against West Ham. Like, it just seems like a bit of a bold call from Mers.
Yeah.
Let's have your prediction then, Paige, if you don't agree with his.
Well, I'm going to say we'll keep a clean sheet, but we'll score a couple. I think 2-0 is what I'm going to say. Just I can't see us not scoring past West Ham because they are still conceding quite a few goals. And like we've mentioned, they're struggling for goals. So yeah, 2-0.
See, like, I think it's going to be a tight game. Like, even at home to Everton in the last game, they played 5 at the back. It was like a 5-4-1. So they're going to play with two deep fullbacks. They're going to play with Declan Rice in the middle as well. Like, they are going to be hard to break down. I could see it being sort of probably a 1-0. Like, Wilson's not on form scoring. Miggy's hot streaks came to an end. And he looks, I want to say not tired, but he doesn't look as sharp. And as he has been before the World Cup. Like he's like the effort's still there. Obviously, like it was a class assist for Longstaff's second goal, like to drag it across. But his shooting is not quite where it has been, and with Wilson not exactly on form, I could see, maybe just like a tight 1-0. I don't know where Mason's coming from because West Ham haven't been scoring. We haven't been scoring many, and also we don't tend to concede at home. So I'd probably go with like a 1-0. But yeah, I really want to see like I would like to see some Maximan starting. I'd like to see him like get amongst the goals or assists because I feel like he's been like almost there when he's came on. He's doing the right things going forward, but it's not quite coming off. But I think it's just a matter of time before he finds his feet and gets back amongst it.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I'm predicting 1-0, but I think it will be really interesting because we're obviously forced into making the change with Bruno not there. So how more attacking we might be, how it's going to affect us defensively, we might not be as solid at the back. So if anything, I think this could be a game where we do see goals. He's obviously like if it's Joelinton, Willock and Longstaff in the middle, I'm kind of feeling like he's going to ask Longstaff to play that 6th role. So we'll see how he gets on. And then it depends as well if Isak's like got this concussion injury or not, whether he's allowed to play. Because if he is, even if he comes off the bench, you'd like to think he's going to get at least a chance and good bag. So when Maxi playing, he's not playing.
The lack of Bruno means that we lack that creative like touch that we have in the midfield. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see if other players step up and get that.
It means we probably will have to look more towards the wings for like Trippier and Miggy down the right, and then whoever starts left wing. I think we probably will focus more down the wings because through the middle, like when Bruno doesn't play, we do lose that creativity and we don't really play through the lines as much. And especially like you often have Sean Longstaff making those forward runs to break the lines between midfield and defence, and if he's sitting back, you're not going to have that as much. So it'll be interesting to see how we're set up and who is the anchor in that midfield. But yeah, I'm still confident that we'll keep a clean sheet. But I think it will be a close game.
You think as well we've got Gordon to come on from the bench rather than Murphy as well. So later in the game we could see some good action. So I don't know, I'm talking myself into like 3-0 now. Yes. Well, anyway, anything else before we wrap up?
Sean Longstaff, Player of the Month for January from 28-8.
28-8, Player of the Month, yeah, well deserved.
Had an absolute fucking stormer.
Aye, very well
We'll
deserved.
get into the ticketing malarkey when Pete's back on the pod because I know he's got a few words to say about it.
Yeah, and we'll see whether you get tickets or not as well.
Aye, that's the thing. Like,
affect the rant a bit.
Aye, so Paige is one above us, so he can get his on the 8th and us on the 9th, I believe. So we'll have to see in a week's time.
Yeah, I think we're going to be fine. I think we're all going to get a ticket. I
just wish I knew how many season ticket holders we had. Like, there's some reports saying like 30, 31. There's some saying 35, 38. Like, no one really knows.
35, like, yeah.
And with like 33,000 tickets, you'd think that everyone who wants to go will be able to go, pretty much. You'd think maybe like 5-10% might not.
Yeah, because not every season ticket holder is going to be able to go down to London. So
no, some people will work, some people will have kids, some people will be sort of too old maybe. Some will be priced out because a trip down to London is not going to be cheap. So
hotel,
you'd think at least 5-10% of people might not want it. So I'm quietly confident anyone in that tier 4 should get a ticket through the ballot before it drops to season ticket holders who haven't been to a cup game. But I don't get nervous, but I'm a bit.
I don't think there's much difference between the tier 1 and 2 in the fact that obviously tier 1 has got the loyalty points, but tier 2 is that you've had to have gone to the away games one of the away games plus the home games. To me, like, majority of those people who've got the loyalty points probably went to the Southampton away game or the Tranmere game, and I feel like there could be crossover between the people in those two sort of tiers, which might then help release a bit more for, the 3 and 4 and the other tiers after that. So that's my thinking, and obviously hoping that's the case so that we all get a ticket.
So my understanding is that the wording on the Newcastle website is that tickets are on sale from X date for periods 1, 2 and 3, but it says ballot opens at X date for 4 to 7. So my thinking is that 1 to 3, if you want a ticket at the final, it's pretty much guaranteed. And then once, obviously, everyone's decided whether they want to go, the rest will go to period 4 to the ballot. And then if any get through 4, then they'll go to 5. So, yeah, as I said, with there being, for example, 35,000 season ticket holders, roughly 33,000 seats, you think some will fall to 5, but no later. So that's what I'm hoping, because I've been to 13 games this season. I've been to all 10 home games in the league. I've been to the 2 quarter and semi-finals. I've been to the Chef Wed away, but that was on someone else's ticket because you can't get tickets yourself with little no points, because nothing hits 0. Nothing hits. I don't think anything's hit under 70 or 50 points this season. So it's literally impossible to build any up.
Exactly. We talked about it before earlier in the season, haven't we, about loyalty points. It's a broken
we'll not bore
system.
everyone with it. But for a brief explanation for those who might not already know. But yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. All 3 years will be there. I obviously won't, but
shit fan.
These other things. This is what happens when you move to Australia. So.
Not good enough, mate.
Before your team gets decent as well.
Get your flight booked, man.
You should have remained loyal.
The
Queen and country.
Stuck it out.
King.
If you've enjoyed this episode, guys, do please consider giving us a like. If you're on YouTube, subscription. It does actually massively help. It's free. You don't have to pay us anything. If you're watching,
if we've got Wetherspoons, you can buy with like a tub of peas or something.
Well, you can become like a member, which if you want to give us money, you can do. But if you're listening on podcasts,
in Wembley are expensive,
platforms. Buy these lads a pint down in London.
So no one's donating 50
quid. The prices down there. Follow us on podcast platforms. We'll be back with a review of how the West Ham game went down. Subscribe and you'll know when we do the preview for the final. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Good Wembley. Cheers.